Hello, are we live now, Kranti? Okay, are we live now, Kranti? Shall we start? Okay, so welcome to Automation Squad. So we are back with the second episode of document understanding. So today we'll start with the second part, which is taxonomy, where we create a taxonomy based on your extraction needs, and where we edit and replace the existing taxonomy. So previously in previous session we had introduction. So if you are new, I would recommend you to watch part one, where I'm explained in detail what about what document understanding is, and then a quick introduction about the overall overview of document understanding framework. So in this part we'll discuss about taxonomy. So totally in total we cover what is taxonomy, and then what is taxonomy manager, and how it is used to create a schema of or structure of your document, and based on which the documents, I mean the scraping happens, and how we work with those taxonomies for further steps, and then I'll show you one example in action in UiPath. So a taxonomy is a collection of data types, a collection of document types actually. So in that document types we can have different types of fields, and for those fields we can have different types of data types. And a document type, we might have a question like collection of document types, and then we know like what is a document type. So document type is nothing but a logical logical type of document. For example, if you have an invoice, you that is one type of document. And if you have any other another category, so based on its definition, based on some logic of a definition, the document types can be classified. So you classify those, you categorize, and then you define those documents in taxonomy section. And for example, if you have a invoice from taxonomy manager, so let's continue with that. So taxonomy manager can be used to create and edit a taxonomy. So as I said, taxonomy is nothing but a schema of your document. So just like if you have an invoice, there will be different types of fields in that invoice. If you want to scrape name, date, vendor name, price, and if you have a table, you can extract the table as well. So to define that schema of your invoice or any other document, we use taxonomy manager, and that taxonomy is nothing but your schema. So once you edit those fields, and then once you create your group category, and then the document type, and then fields, there will be a JSON file that generates automatically. So in that you can directly load taxonomy. So when you use the load taxonomy activity, it will directly load the JSON file from the there will be automatically created folder. So from that folder it will automatically scrape the document, I mean the JSON file, and then it will automatically load that into a variable. So that variable can be used for remaining activities in the framework. So for example, a taxonomy is a first step, and next step will be digitize, and the next step will be like to use a OCR method to extract the information. So for all those, you use this schema as a base point, and then that schema has been defined by taxonomy manager, and then this schema will be stored in JSON. load taxonomy activity used to load that JSON to a variable. So I hope it is clear. So this taxonomy manager can be accessed only when once you install UiPath intelligent OCR activities package. So that we discussed in the previous session. So you can, if you have any queries, you can go through that introduction session. So next step, as I told, we'll be working with taxonomies, and this taxonomy can be used, can be loaded using this load taxonomy activity. And now let's go to UiPath and then see what all we have in the taxonomy manager. So this is what the taxonomy manager is. So I'll explain each place here. I mean each uh, which kind of fields which we have here. So first one, group. So group is nothing but the individual, in every company will have different kinds, I mean different groups. For example, accounting, for example, finance group, and IT help support group, or it can be anything. So basically your department will be your group, and the categories inside that, if you are accounting, then incoming will be one category, and then any other kind of document categories, like how high level categories will be your category name. So firstly, the document type, this will be the first step in creating a taxonomy. You select create any, I mean you select this path, and then you click on this plus button, and then you can add your group name. For example, I'm adding it as finance. So here we already have, you see, accounting will be your group name, or finance will be your group name. Forms, inside the forms we have SCC, so this will be one category, and inside financial you have reports, so this will be your category. So for example, I'll just create test group. You can edit them on one, I mean once you create here, you can, when you click on here, you can edit that. I'll show you that. And you can create a new category, cat one, then you can add your document types. So firstly, I'll just this is just an example. I'm just creating a basic names, not a detailed name. So type one. For example, if you have to edit that, you can just click on type one, and then you can edit the name, and then now we have to add the fields. So for example, in these fields are the fields which you wish to scrape from the document. You need a name, so you have to keep a name. Select the type of name. It will be a text type, so I'm keeping text. Click on save. I can click on save. So inside type, we have one field, and you can also scrape complex structures like table. So create a table. Click on select any name. I'm using items, and then select table. And then now we have to add at least one column. So L1, that would be in text. Another column, L2. Again, for example, it would be number. Save, and then save. So this will be your table. You can edit whenever you need. Click on save, again save, and then close. So once you do that, so if you go to the your project structure, this once you install that package, this document processing folder will automatically be created in your UiPath structure, UiPath folder structure. So inside that you have taxonomies. Once you open the taxonomy.json, here you can see all the categories, and then all the fields you given there. So for example, mine would be in last, or else above. Is related to accounting, finance, forms, certificate filling, yeah, here. So this will be our, so this structure is the one which we created now. So your test group, and then inside a category, and then your doc first type one, and then so this will be a group name, and then type one. The first field of that is document type, and then these field structure have your fields. For example, name, items. So inside item we have two columns. So column one, column two. So that's how it stores. And once you use the load taxonomy, it will automatically directly loads that taxonomy from the document processing folder. So you don't have to mention any folder structure. So by default, the load taxonomy activity will pick up the files from the document processing folder. So we are in Taxonomy Manager. So let's quickly check the remaining options that we have. So firstly, as I told, we create a group for your type, I mean for your document. And once you click on so these groups, it can be like I mean the document, I mean it should be like once you organize it well, for example in this, if this is a good kind of organization and this is also a good kind of organization. So once you organize them well, so you'll have like in future, you'll if there are any new changes and if there is a new change request, you can directly go to that. And then if you have a good organization, you can directly open that and then you can click on edit. And then for example, this name got changed, or if you have to edit the field name, instead of company name, you have to type company underscore capital N and then name. So that will be really helpful if you have a good organization. So that is one of the key point once you are giving these names and all, not only names, the categories as well, and then the field types as well. So this is about the uh, groups. And then the let's go to the field section. So here you type the name and then select if you are already, if you have to add an existing if you have to add a new type to the existing category or existing group, you directly click on add new document type, and then you select the type, and then you select one of the group. So here we created 4 groups, sorry, 5 groups. You can directly select one of the group and then select one of the category that we have, and then new field. So that will automatically create a new field for that document type. So that's one of the important thing which you have to take a look on. So we discussed about the taxonomy manager. I hope it is clear, like how we what is a group, and then what is a category, and then what are the kinds, what are the field types you have. For example, field types can be so once I edit this, so these are all the types we have. Text for any string, it can be. So number, here we don't have integer and float as a separate types. So all those comes under number. So it can be a boolean, it can be a or double type, or it can be a float type, it can be a int32. So all kinds comes under a single type number. And then date, we know, so all dates comes under here. And then the address, it will be like a common collection of lines of the data. So it won't be a single name, it will be lines of data. So that comes under address. And then boolean, and then the table. Once you define the table, you have to give the column names, I mean number of columns you have. So I think we gone through each step of the taxonomy manager. So let's close this. So as I already explained you, like the taxonomy.json, like how exactly it scrapes that. So now we have the activity. So now we have created the schema of the document. So in this will be the first step for document understanding, to create the schema and to create the definition of the document. So that we created now, and now we have that in a JSON file. So now we have to load that JSON, and you have to use that taxonomy for the remaining parts. So for that we have an activity called load taxonomy, so which is already here. So load taxonomy just turns the JSON file which has been created with the taxonomy manager into a variable. So as I told, that can be used for the coming steps. So just create, I mean I've already tracked that load taxonomy. We have a single property here to get that entire taxonomy JSON into a variable. So that's all we have for taxonomy. And then in next session we'll discuss about the next documentation framework, which is digitize. So we have few of the examples which is already been provided by UiPath. So for example, all these documents are already been there in UiPath folders, UiPath Academy. So you can, if you have to practice with me, along with me, you can directly download this. in the next session. So since we have created the taxonomy, we can, in the next step, we directly digitize them. So for that we need these documents. So if you need these documents, you can already ping in comments. I'll share it with you in the mail. You can ping your mail ID. So in the next coming session, we'll discuss about the digitize. So yeah, thank you.